everybody, welcome. I'm just going to get started in a minute. I'm just going to let people arrive on Facebook, and happy Mother's Day. Hello everybody. So just going to get started in a minute or two here. I'm just going to let everybody get settled. If you're just arriving, getting yourself ready for Mother's Day practice. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, whether you're a mom or you have pets or you have a mom or you're a sister or whatever. Happy Mother's Day, and looking forward to moving with you this morning. So get yourself settled, maybe into a comfortable seat, and if you feel like you are needing some grounding, you could come into child's pose maybe. But if you feel like you need a bit of energy this morning, come up to your seat and we'll start here. We'll just get ready or just get started in a moment. So just coming to your breath if you're already joining us, and I'm just going to take a minute to let everyone get settled in here. Oh, hi, thank you. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you too. All right. So I'm going to move us through an all levels practice. If you haven't been joining me in the mornings, the practice tends to be a little bit active, so I'll give some options, but today I'm going to do a bit more of an all levels movement practice for everybody joining. And just remember to really listen to your body each time you come to your mat, especially because we're online and we're not able to check in. Just really check in with yourself, what you need, if you need to pause, if you need to come out of something that's not working for you that day. Really check in with that, and give yourself permission to take whatever's working for you and just leave whatever that's not. Okay? So we'll start on a tall seat, and if you are still getting settled, you can just join us when you're ready here. If you're comfortable to close your eyes, you could close your eyes and connect into your breath. You might want to take a couple clearing breaths. And that's in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then you could settle into a breath that feels lengthening and opening and grounding all at the same time. If you're really busy in your mind this morning, you could continue to follow your breath, maybe by counting as you breathe in and then counting as you breathe out. And really bringing your awareness into the present moment. You're ready, bringing your palms together over your heart or hands together at heart center. I'm going to open the practice with an Om, and you're more than welcome to join in with me, or you can also listen and enjoy. Start with a clearing breath, deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. placing your hands down, lifting your head, opening up your eyes if they're closed. We're going to take a moment in child's pose. So if you're already in child's pose, you could stay here for a few more breaths. It's finding some grounding and connection to our breath in this way. And in child's pose, opportunity to pause, to really get close to the ground, to find that place where we can really settle. And in this first child's pose here, noticing your breath moving into the back of your body, perhaps. Maybe a little bit of opening through your hips if your knees are a bit wider than your hips. Just take a couple more breaths here. Rising to come up to tabletop. So I'm going to apologize. My allergies are, it's like allergies gone wild since yesterday. So if I start sneezing and I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel very puffy-eyed and itchy today. So hopefully I can manage through this here. So from tabletop, we're going to move a little bit. That could be an arching and a rounding through your spine. Warming up, waking up your spine, the vertebrae, and you could connect your breath with this movement as well. Inhaling and exhaling. You could add some additional movement here, so you could make some lengthening from side to side. You may want to make some big circles or some figure 8 type of movements, getting into the sides of your body a little bit here as well. Just allowing your breath to move and flow as well. And if you make some movement in one direction, perhaps change directions, switch sides. And we'll just spend a couple more breaths here. Now when you're ready, let's come back to the center and take a moment here again to pause. If you want to circle out your wrists a couple times or shift around a little bit here. I should also mention, if you don't own a thick mat, you could also place a folded up towel underneath or a blanket underneath your knees when we come to tabletop. So just check in with what supports you the most here. So we're going to work a little bit with some core stability. So you could extend your right foot back, tuck your toes under, or you could lift your right foot up. Now you might want to really engage through your hands here, pull up through your lower belly, and some of you may also take your opposite arm, your left arm forward. Or you could keep both hands planted here for a bit more stability and then connecting to your breath. Just whenever you're ready, we're going to come back to the center. Take a moment to pause. And we'll come to the other side. So you could tuck your left toes under or lift your left foot right up here. And both hands can stay planted, working with a little bit of core stability, navel towards your spine, connecting to your breath here, and allowing your breath to move freely if you can. And as you're ready, releasing, coming back down, and let's take a moment here to either sit back on our heels or come to child's pose. Circle out our wrists a couple times, maybe shake them out a little bit. So I'm going to move us into downward facing dog. If you're feeling like you don't want to be on your arms and your hands, you could come right up into a standing forward fold. So standing on your feet, folding over your legs. Those of you coming into downward dog, let's create a little bit of movement here. So perhaps bending one knee, sending your opposite heel down towards the ground. And you want to try to bend your knees if your legs are tight right now, and really press through your arms and press through your fingertips. Really grip a hold of the mat perhaps, and move your heart back towards your legs. So find that length and extension through your spine first, and then we can work the legs a little bit straighter, or having a bit more movement through our legs. So lots of length through your spine. A couple more deep breaths up into your heart space. We will be moving into a standing forward fold, so either walking or stepping your feet forward whenever you're ready here, and folding yourself back in. We're going to pause here for about 5 or 6 breaths in our forward fold. If you've been here for a while and you feel like you need to come out, you're more than welcome to come up to standing earlier. And if not, we'll pause here for maybe about another 4 or 5 breaths. Taking your time to come up, you may want to ragdoll up to stand. That's on my leg here. Or you may want to take 1 breath to rise and come up. As you come up to stand, find some length. Shoulders may be rolling back and down a couple times. So, as I said at the beginning, if you're just joining us, this is an all levels class. I will be offering some different options. So please just check in with your body with what you need right now. You may want to add a bit more than I'm offering, or you might want to bring it back a little bit, okay? So let's take a breath in. Let's reach our arms up overhead. Let's exhale. Let's come back down into our forward fold. Now, you can place your hands on your shins, straighten your arms, lengthen through your spine, maybe lifting up halfway, and then fold in. And let's take a step back with our left foot. We're going to come to a low lunge. You're more than welcome to make this a high lunge today by lifting your back knee off the ground. So hands to your hips, or maybe reaching your arms up overhead here. And take a moment to pause, to settle. If this is too much for your shoulders, lifting your arms up overhead, hands to your hips, elbows drawing in. Connect into your breath, breathe up into your heart space. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And exhale. Let's bring our hands down. You're welcome to step back to downward facing dog. Some of you may want to come back to child's pose or tabletop. And on your inhale, let's come forward to plank pose. So shoulders over top of your wrists. Take a moment to pause here. With your knees up or your knees down to the ground, let's lower down, all the way down. And today, let's bring our palms beside our hips. So palms facing down, lift your shoulders up, maybe lift your head, and you might want to begin to reach your arms back. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, pressing back, you can come to child's pose again for a couple breaths, or moving back to downward facing dog. A couple more breaths here, maybe a clearing breath in through your nose, and then out through your mouth. And 1 more breath. And then let's walk or step forward again. Come right to the front of your mat, and let's forward fold. When you're ready, hands to your hips. Let's rise. Let's come up. Reach your arms up, maybe at the top, and hands down to your heart. Take a breath or 2 here. Okay. Inhale. Let's reach our arms up. Exhale, let's forward fold. And let's lift up again halfway, hands to your shins, or if you have blocks. And let's step our right foot back this time. So if you took the high lunge the last time, you could take the high lunge here this time. I'm bringing my back knee to the ground. Check that your front knee's over your ankle, so you have some stability here in your front leg. It could be here. You can even take goddess or cactus arms, lifting your elbows up in line with your shoulders. Shoulders back. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Now, when your next exhale comes, Let's bring our hands down. Again, you could step back to tabletop. You could move to child's pose. I'm going to move through vinyasa. So coming forward to plank pose. Knees up or knees down, lower down. Okay. This time a little bit of a low cobra, or you could lift up a little bit higher, shoulders back. And when you're ready, you can move again back to child's pose for a couple breaths, or downward facing dog, your choice here. Maybe taking a clearing breath or two in through your nose, out through your mouth. When you're ready, we're going to walk or step forward, come back to the front of your mat, take a forward fold here. And then let's rise, come all the way up to stand, and hands to heart center. Arms by your side, take a moment to pause, come back to your breathing. So we're going to work a little bit on some balancing today as well. I'm going to turn just for a moment so you could see me facing this forward towards the camera. So we're going to lift our knee up here or here, okay? And then we're going to transition from there. So starting with your hands on your hips, you could stand on your right leg first. Bring your left knee up. You could place your hand on top of your knee if you like, or you could have your hand not on your knee. You could have your hands at heart center if you like. Now at any time you could step back. We're going to lean forward, bend into our standing leg, step your left foot back, place your heel down, and then just angling your back foot slightly forward. We're going to come into warrior one here. So a little bit of a bend into your front knee, try to lift your upper body. Arms reach up overhead. You could keep your hands on your hips if you like. Connecting to your breath. And when you're ready, let's straighten out our front leg. Hands to your hips. We're going to hinge forward. Now you could stay here, lift it up about halfway. If you have blocks, you could bring your hands to the yoga blocks. If you don't have them, that's okay too. You might reach the floor. And then you could fold in here as well. Connecting to your breath. So it's okay to have a bend in your front knee as long as you're feeling some length through the back of your front leg, which most of us do. We have pretty tight legs, or some of us do. So we're going to lift up again, come all the way up to stand. Now we're going to work through that same transition where we step back, we're going to step forward. So lifting your back heel, lean into your front foot, maybe give a little push off here. Maybe bring your left knee back towards your chest, and then we'll come back to mountain pose. Take a moment for a breath or two here. Awesome. All right, so we do all of that on the other side. So standing on your left foot, right knee towards your chest. You could place your hand on top of your knee, finding some length through your side, really engaging through your standing leg, or you could have your leg free. We are going to step our right foot back, so leaning forward a bit, move your right foot back, placing your heel down. You can always adjust your stride a bit here, and then bend into your front knee. You can have your hands on your hips, reach your arms up overhead for warrior one, but we're bending into our front knee here. Connecting to your breath. Couple more breaths here. And just as you're ready, hands to your hips, straightening out your front leg. Let's hinge forward. So if you can't reach the floor, you could also support your hands above your knee. You could bring your hands to the floor, or you could stay lifted up about halfway, your choice. And connecting into your breath. When you're ready, ready, we're gonna rise, we're gonna lift all the way back up, and we're gonna try to move back through that transition. So it's okay if you don't get it and you just come to stand. So maybe lifting your right leg back up, and then placing your foot down. And give everything a little shake out if you like, and take a couple deep breaths here. All right, let's take a breath in, reach our arms up, and then exhale, let's fold back in. Now let's find a halfway lift, inhale. We're gonna step our left foot back again. So you could place your back knee on the ground, or you could keep your back knee lifted, your choice, and maybe placing your left hand on a block, or you can have your hand on the ground. I'm gonna walk my right foot a little wider. I'm gonna turn towards my right leg for a bit of a twist. You could have your right hand on your hip, or you extend your right hand up towards the ceiling here. Couple more breaths. And when you're ready, bring your hand down, and we're going to step back to downward facing dog. You could stay here. You could move through that vinyasa if you like. You could also take child's pose, your choice. And then let's step our left foot forward. So you could lift your left knee, you could swing it forward, you could give it a little help, grab your ankle, and then right hand on the ground. We're gonna twist towards the left here. So remember, you could take this low lunge or high lunge, and we're gonna connect into our breath, a few more breaths. And when you're ready, hands down, let's step forward to the front of our mat and take a forward fold here. Take a couple deep breaths in your forward fold, finding a little length, maybe grabbing opposite elbows here. If you like, you can walk both hands over towards the right side, anchoring your, if you're moving to the right, anchoring your left hip back and down, finding a bit of length, maybe folding in. If you have yoga blocks, you could also use the blocks here. When you're ready, coming back through the center, over to the other side, a little bit of length here. And then back to the other side, back to the center, sorry. You step our left foot back, and this time for warrior two. So placing your back heel to the ground, rising up to stand. I'm gonna bend into our front knee, and just check that your front knee's over your ankle, and then your upper body is upright in the center. So you can place your hands at heart center. You can take your arms out, looking forward, and feel strong and anchored through your legs, perhaps really rooting down. And then the rest of your body should feel a little bit more like, I don't know, I think of like a surfer in this pose. Your yoga mat's like your surfboard. You want to have a little bit of fluidity, a little bit of movement and ability to adjust in your upper body. Your legs are solid and connected. And when you're ready, let's straighten out our front leg. Hands to your hips. Find a little length here first. Take a breath in. Now we're going to reach forward with our front hand. Your back hand can be on your hip. Your front hand can come down to your shin. And start to turn your heart open. You could stay here maybe, or reach your back hand up towards the ceiling. You could also look up or look down or look forward, whatever makes most sense for you here. Let's take a couple more breaths. If you're just joining us, welcome and happy Mother's Day, everyone. Mothers or not, let's celebrate just being human right now. All right, let's come all the way back up to stand. We're gonna bend into our front knee again, and this time placing lightly your front elbow to your front leg, back leg is really anchored, shoulders back, and you could stay here. You could reach your arm up or forward. Couple more breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to look down. Let's bring our hands down on either side of our front foot. Lift your back heel, and we're going to step back into downward dog. And anyone wanting to move through vinyasa can do that, or you can take child's pose as well. Taking a breath or two wherever it is that you are. And then when you're ready, stepping your left foot forward. So we're going to come up to warrior two. Just did a little maneuver so I'm facing the other way. And bending into your left knee here. Arms extended, or hands on your hips, or even hands at heart center. Connecting to your breath. And just when you're ready, let's begin to straighten out both legs and reaching forward for triangle pose. Your back hand could be on your hip. Front hand could come down to your shin, really rooting through your legs here. You could stay here, you could extend your arm up. Wherever it is that you are, coming back to your breath. We're going to come all the way back up to stand. Bend into our front knee again. Extended side angle pose. So your front elbow's lightly resting, just as light as a feather. You could be here, you could extend your arm up, or you could extend your arm forward. And wherever it is that you are, coming back to your breath here. Connect to your breath. When you're ready, we're going to bring our hands down. We're going to step back to downward facing dog and or child's pose, or move through vinyasa. And wherever it is that you are, let's take a few breaths in child's pose. So perhaps after your vinyasa, coming down to child's pose, taking a moment to pause, coming back to your breath. So wherever it is that you are, let's come back up to downward facing dog, or from tabletop, we're going to step our right foot forward. So either one, you can give yourself a little help here. We're going to lengthen out the back of our legs. Now, some of you have yoga blocks, so you could use them here if you like. They have 3 different heights. If you don't, you'll just be mindful as you straighten out your front leg. You're going to want to move your back knee just so that it's either just slightly further back behind you from your hip. Flex your toes. And if your legs are tight again, you may have a bit more of a bend to your front knee. And try not to collapse your knee all the way down, so you little micro bend maybe. And then from here, folding in or staying lifted up, your choice. A few more breaths here. And then from here, let's bend into our front knee again. And we're going to slide our leg back and switch sides. So really getting into the backs of our legs here with this pose. So again, moving your back knee back a little bit, lifting the bottom of your foot, flexing your toes back, and finding some length, connecting into your breath. One side might feel different than the other. That's okay. I can't see who's saying hi, but hello, Happy Mother's Day. I see Happy Mother's Day, I just can't see who it's from. And when you're ready, bending into your front knee, and let's come back to a tabletop. We're going to move into standing forward fold here, so you could come through downward dog first, couple breaths. You could maybe walk your hands back towards your feet, so now you're at the very back of your mat. We're going to take squat pose, so walking your feet a little wider, turn your toes out, and maybe sit down. So you could sit down part way, have your elbows above your knees. You could sit down maybe all the way. Some of you have a yoga block. You could also use that as a support to sit up on. I see some little heart faces, and hello everybody, welcome. Happy Mother's Day to anybody who is a mother or not even a mother. Happy mother, happy day, just happy day. Have a great day. It's beautiful, it's sunny. So we're going to come to stand, and you could come through a forward fold first for a couple breaths, maybe ragdoll up to standing, just taking your time, coming all the way up. And then wherever it is that you are, you could come back to the front of your mat if you like, or I'm going to turn to face you. Oh, hi Liz. Hi Liz. I couldn't see who it was. Hi, happy Mother's Day. Okay, so we're going to come into tree pose. I'm going to turn to face you, but you don't need to turn on your mat. Start by standing on your right foot. You could turn your left toes out, resting your heel on your ankle here. So this is option one, and you can always come back to this point. You can place your foot below your knee, just on the inside of your lower leg. And some of you can grab your ankle and bring it up to the upper leg, the inside of your upper leg. So anytime you're falling out, your toes can come back towards the ground. Any arm variations you like, arms overhead, hands at your heart, hands on your hips, or whatever, anything else. Let's take about 4 or 5 more breaths. If you need to come out sooner, making your way into mountain, just standing on both feet. A couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, we're going to come out. And if you want to shake it out a little bit or circle your ankle a couple times, you can. Or take a moment here to pause. Feel both feet connected to the ground. Maybe take a clearing breath or two. All right, and we're going to come to the other side. So this side might feel different. Your variation might change. Your balance might feel different. If you struggle with balance, find a sturdy piece of furniture or a wall even to help to support you. That'll just help to build some of these stabilizing muscles as you work on your balance. And come into Goddess, cactus arms here. Connecting to our breath. This is definitely my more challenging side. This hip and leg are not as strong as my other side for sure. So just noticing that I might be wobbling a little bit more than the other side. So if you're watching something moving, it's also hard to balance, I find. So maybe fixing your gaze on something that is not moving. Amazing. Okay, let's come on out of tree pose on that side. Make a little movement. Take a moment to pause in mountain. All right. So I'm going to turn to the face the front of my mat again. You could be hopefully still facing forward. If not, come to face the front of your mat. Let's take an inhale, let's reach our arms up overhead, and then exhale, forward fold. And then let's take an inhale, let's lift up halfway, and then exhale, fold. And then let's rise to stand, reach your arms up, and hands to heart center. All right, so take an inhale, reach your arms up again. Exhale, let's forward fold. Now let's step our left foot back. Left knee comes down. Walk your right foot a little bit wider and turn your toes out so you can place your hands right underneath your shoulders on the inside of your front foot. So I may turn to face forward here so you can see where I'm at. Foot wider, hands on the floor. All right. Okay. Back knee, move. You can move it back as far as you can move it back, that it's comfortable. Some of you have blocks and some of you don't. So some of you may stay up on your hands here. If you have blocks, you could stack them, come down a little bit closer to the ground. You could take them individually, come a little bit closer to the ground. Or some of you may already be able to come down to the ground or not, depending on how your hips feel. And then pausing here, we're going to take a few more breaths. If you need some clearing breaths. Somebody else is saying something to me. Hi, happy Mother's Day. I can see that. I think that's Lori. Hi, Lori. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Yes, I can't see who's here, but I can see if you leave me a message. So if you put something in the little box and send it to me, I can see it, but otherwise I can't see who's here. Good. All right. How's everybody feeling? A little bit of a hip opener here. It's taking some time. Let's come on out. And if you want to pause in child's pose, you can. Some of you may want to maybe make some hip circles from tabletop, or you could come to downward facing dog. Your choice. Had lots of cracking and creaking, and I'm looking forward to maybe having a massage at some point again in life. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to some things that we've been missing, hey? All right, so let's switch sides. Left foot forward. Left foot comes wider, turn your toes out. This just allows your knee to open up as opposed to collapse inwards. And you can place your hands on the floor. This side might feel really different. So again, if you have blocks, you could utilize the blocks or not, your choice. Connect into our breath here. Lots of breathing. Maybe clearing it out a few times, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just when you're ready, we're going to start to come on out of this side and again, find a release, which might be child's pose. It could be some movement, downward dog. It could be movement from tabletop. There's definitely a few things I'm looking forward to. Getting my hair done. Getting a massage. Above everything else, I just want to hug everybody in sight. So just watch out when we can start hugging each other, because I'm just going to be hugging everybody. These virtual hugs just aren't the same. Sorry. Take a few more breaths here. So we're going to move to the front of our body. We're going to come into a few heart openers or a little bit back bend. Hi, Bo. Hi, buddy. Nice to see you today. So we'll do a couple heart openers. The first one being Sphinx pose. Now, elbows underneath your shoulders are slightly forward, shoulders rolling back and down. Now, for some of you that might feel a bit too pinchy into your lower back, so come down a bit lower here. Hands underneath your shoulders, rolling your shoulders back and down. Hi. Aw, thanks, buddy. Oh, yeah. You're cute sometimes. Hey? All right. Okay. If not, Sphinx pose. That's my cat, Bo, if you haven't met him yet. He usually makes his cameo in my yoga classes. All right. So some of you in Sphinx pose can also come into what's called Swan pose, which is lifting your elbows, straightening your arms. And again, shoulders back and down, and any pinching in your lower back, please lower down a little bit. In either of those, this variation or the last variation, if you wanted to bend your knees here as well, you could. Again, if that creates a pinching, come on out. We're just going to spend a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, place your elbows wide. You could stack your hands. You could bring one cheek to the ground. You could even slide one knee up alongside you. Take a couple breaths into your lower back. And let's come back to the center. Now, near the beginning of practice, we had our hands beside us, shoulders back, and maybe arms reaching back. Okay, so we can work with this variation here, hands down, or palms facing one another, fingertips reaching back. Or you could interlace your hands here, straighten your arms, stretch your knuckles back. And in any of these variations, you could also lift your legs. So we're not bending our knees, we're just using core strength to lift our body up away from the floor. A couple more breaths here. And wherever it is that you are, let's release. Again, stacking your palms, the other knee comes alongside you, and we'll take a few breaths here. Okay, so let's come back to the center. We're gonna work into a shoulder opener. For some people, this is too much, but we'll just see how that feels. If it's too much, just come on out. I'll show you facing away from you, and then I'll show facing you as well. So I'm gonna extend my left arm out here in line with my shoulder, and as I'm gonna start to roll towards that left arm. At the same time, I'm walking my fingertips away, and then trying to bring my head down. My right leg's maybe gonna move in behind me, or both knees stacked here, okay? And you could use your right hand to brace in front of you for support, or you could bring your hand in behind you. Now, lots of options. I'll turn to face you so you can see as well this way. So if you're feeling quite pinchy and you want to place your hand in front of you, if it's too pinchy still, come on out. Lots of options here to support the opening through your shoulder. Again, you don't want to create pain. If you feel any pain or pinching, please come on out. I'm just going to take a few more breaths here. As you're ready, let's come back to the center, and we'll take the other side, and one side may feel very different than the other. So as you're coming to the other side, please trust in your body and your body's wisdom to know if this is too much at any point. Come on out, and wherever you are, coming back to your breath.
You could have your hand in front of you to support and brace you here. You can breathe up into your heart space if that doesn't feel too intense. Just when you're ready, we're going to come all the way back. Just shuffle around a little bit, you may have to, and coming back into child's pose. So taking some time, since we did come into some back bends here, to move into child's pose, taking a few breaths. Just checking on the time. Now you can stay in the center in child's pose if you like. Let's take a little side body lengthener, walking both arms over towards the left, so you feel a stretch to the right. You want to try to bring your head down towards the floor here. Your left arm can also come alongside you as you walk your right arm. So if you don't feel a stretch to the right, you can walk your right arm around a bit more to the left. Try to keep your hips anchoring, especially your right hip anchored back and down. Couple more breaths here. And if you went to one side, let's come to the other side. So left arm stretches towards the right. Your right arm can extend forward, or you can place your right arm alongside you here. Connecting into your breath. Rise. Let's come back up to the center. Now I'm going to offer pigeon pose. For those of you that know this pose and you know it's not for you, you can come onto your back into figure 4 instead. If you're not too familiar with pigeon, I'm going to start with my left knee a little wider than my left hip. Your foot can wiggle around across your mat a little bit here. And then, so my left leg is here to the side, a little bit wider on the same side. Now, if this creates any compression, pressure, it feels like you're loading up your left knee, come out. Instead, you'll take figure 4. And this is figure 4. So either left foot on top of your right upper leg here. Some of you might be here as well, okay? So just takes the weight off of your knee joint, so your body weight is not on your knee joint. Some of you already know this, but please just make sure you don't feel any pain. We don't want to create injuries from yoga. We're trying to allow the body to heal a little bit. So it can be uncomfortable, which means like it feels like it's really stretching or opening, but it shouldn't feel like a pressure and like a sharp shooting pain at all, ever, okay? And in this, whatever variation you're in, let's connect into our breath. Maybe a couple clearing breaths. Going to take a couple more breaths wherever it is you are. So if you're still in the pose, take some time to come on out. You may want to find some movement in transition or maybe child's pose. If you're lying on your back, you could release your knees or bring your knees in towards your chest, or find a release in that way. And just whenever you're ready, finding a release, coming to the other side, okay? And this side might feel different, so if you try pigeon pose on this side and it feels not great in your knee joint, come onto your back and take figure 4 on your back instead. So we'll be here for, we were probably in the last side for just over a minute and a half, and we're gonna settle in here. Allow your breath to clear out, use your breath to soften in, and find some space, We're just going to spend a couple more breaths wherever it is that you are. It's okay if you've come out already. And just taking your time. Coming on out, we're going to find a release here. So whatever you need to do to release from that side. If you are on your back, you can stay there. We're going to roll onto our back now. Seeing the time, we're running out of time. Okay. So when you come onto your back, knees to your chest, you could rock a little bit here from side to side. If you'd like to lengthen out your back a little bit here, we'll come to happy baby pose. So your knees come wide. You can grab behind your knees. You can grab a hold of your ankles, grab a hold of your feet, and draw your knees down towards the floor. Hi. Nice to see you too. When you're ready, let's release that. We're going to take a reclined twist before coming into Shavasana this morning. So I'm going to take both knees over to the right. I will always move my hips to the left first. This allows my spine a little bit more to be lengthened along my mat, but you do you. Trying to settle both legs down towards the floor. Taking some deep breaths into the back of your body, into the side of your body, and allowing the weight of your body to settle towards the floor. So any holding or clenching or contraction of your muscles, try to settle so that you're starting to relax and find yourself a bit more grounding. When you're ready, we'll return to the center and we'll take that twist to the other side. And again, taking some time to settle here, letting go of anything that you're holding. So you may need to adjust your body slightly, just allow yourself to let go a little bit more here. let's return to the center. So finding one more movement in the center. Some of you might want to have your knees to your chest. Some of you may want to come to bound angle posture, or anything else that you feel like you need before we lie down for Shavasana. So sometimes it's really easy to just, especially at home, to skip this part, to feel like you want to move on to the next thing. Give yourself the gift of this next 3 to 5 minutes to just be here, with your breath and your body, and allow the movements of this practice to just absorb and integrate. So if you're not comfortable on your back, you can lie on your side or come to your seat. Wherever you are, give yourself a couple clearing breaths. Give yourself permission to just surrender and let go and just be. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. You can make some gentle movement or give yourself a big body stretch. Or you can bring your knees up into your chest and rock a little bit here. Just take some time to come out of Shavasana. Maybe rolling over to one side for a few breaths before coming up to your seat. Whenever you're up on your seat, just taking your time and no rush. Bring your hands to your heart or palms together at heart center. And just acknowledge the time that you spent this morning here, taking a couple deep breaths of gratitude. Just take a moment to come back to your body. Notice your sit bones and your legs on the floor. Notice your breath moving up into your heart space. Take a moment to be grateful for, or to bring into your awareness anything you're grateful for right now, today, in this moment, in your life. And I just want to acknowledge all the women in my life that that are just so important. And I want to acknowledge my own mother and my grandmother and my aunt and my kids that allow me to be a mother, and everybody else in my life that that means so much. So thank you. I'm so grateful to have been here on Mother's Day, doing what I love, and thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So lovely to be here today and share this time and space with you all. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to see you again. I'm going to be here tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be here a few times this week. Anyways, I'll send out my schedule, but I'm for sure Monday morning I'm here again. All right. And happy Mother's Day. Thanks, everybody. Hi, Terry. Hi, Lisa. Lynn. Hi, Lori. Lizzie. Who else sent me messages? Elizabeth. Thank you. So great to see you all. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.